Hey everyone, today I will help you getting started with React. I will start with the basics and then move on to the more advanced things. This is my first video on this channel, so if you like this video, give it a like. So now let's jump right into it. Here I have an empty folder, so let's drag it to VS Code. If you don't have Node.js installed, then watch this video that should pop up in the top. So there's actually two ways to create a React app. The first one is to write npx create React app and then the name of your app, for example my app. But this is the old version and it's a little bit slow. So what I like to do is to write npm create vit at latest, hit enter, and now you can write the name of project, for example my app, hit enter, choose React, then choose JavaScript. So now like you can see, in the app it created a bunch of files, but we don't need to focus on all of that, we'll focus on the source folder. So here we have the main file, which is main.jsx. We actually don't need to touch it. All of the logic of the app will be at the app.jsx. We can just delete it. We don't need all of that. Remove also this. So we will have empty page. So now to actually run this app, we'll go to the my app folder that it created. So let's type cd my app. And now you can see it changed the directory. So now simply write npm run dev. If you get in this error, then write npm install. It should take a few moments and then you will be good to go. And now if we'll try it again, npm run dev, take a few moments and here we can see. So copy this address and paste it in your browser. And now we can see we have an empty page, but it's black. So let's also remove all of the CSS. And now we can see an empty page. React is actually a different way to write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It has something called JSX. The JSX is in here. So it's like HTML. You can simply add h1 and now you can see it is working like HTML, but it is actually a combination of HTML and JavaScript. So let's create a variable, for example, and set it equal to hello world. And now we can use parentheses and inside simply write the name of the variable. So I write hello and now you can see it's still hello world. And if I'll change it to only hello, now you can see it is changing. So this way you have more access to the HTML and you can manipulate it in different ways. So the very basic thing in React is a thing called hooks. Hooks is a built-in logic that's made by React. But now let's say we want to change the value of the text dynamically. In normal JavaScript, what we'll do is we'll set a timeout for 2 seconds and let's change the value of hello to hey. So now it should write hello and after 2 seconds change to hey. Let's see if it works. We can see it's not working. Why is that? Because the JSX is rendered only once and it got the value only the first time. Every time this function runs, JSX is re-rendering. So what if we want to re-render the JSX every time the value changes? For that, we have hooks in React. Let's use the useState hook. So for that, we write a const hello and set hello. And it will be equal to useState. And in here, we'll pass the initial value. So now we can see it's still printing hello. But now, let's say we want to set a timeout and change the value. Now, if we want to change this hello value, we'll write set hello and then pass it a new value. Let's say, for example, hey. And now let's see what happens. The value changed. So when we set in the value of hello, it causes a re-render and then this value is changed. Now, for example, let's create a simple counter. We'll create a count button. We'll create a button for incrementing and a button for decrementing. And we'll create the count itself. Let's create a new variable and set it to count and set count. and initial value will be 0. Let's write count so it will display the count. So right now we have a button to increment, a button to decrement, and a div that displays the number. So now, how we change the state when we press the button? Because it is JSX, we can write on click and set it to a function. So let's create a new function and call it increment. And we'll set the count to count plus 1. And every time we'll click the button, it will fire this function. So now let's check it. Now you can see it's incrementing. Now let's do the same thing to the decrement. And let's create a function and set the count to count minus 1. So now we can see it is working. So this is a simple example for use state. Another hook that React provides is use effect. Use effect is listening to a change in a specific value and it runs when the value changes. So let's add use effect. Here we'll pass an arrow function. Now let's say we want to console.log every time we decrementing or incrementing the value. So here we'll add a comma and add parentheses, and here we'll write the value that we want to listen to. So we want to listen to the count. Now let's open the console and we can see when we press it is writing hello. But now you can see another problem. Every time the page load, it is logging hello twice. It's because React in the default mode adds strict mode that rendered everything twice. So if you don't want to face this bug, then simply remove this element. Now we can see it is only once. So that was it. I really encourage you to watch the next part about importing CSS in React, and see you in the next one.